Hey, myth hunters. Think you know Greek mythology? Sure, you've heard of Zeus, Hercules, and Medusa. But have you ever imagined a grief-stricken bride nightly serenading a tomb, or a divine gift turning tiny forest insects into glowing guardians? Today, we're uncovering several lesser-known myths, strange, emotional, and unforgettable. Watch till the end for a story that turns tears into stars. Aeson, son of Jason, yes, that Jason, wasn't drawn to heroism or treasure, but to wisdom and prophecy. One day he planted a small laurel seed at Apollo's grove, offering a silent plea, revealed time's hidden truths, if you will. The miracle? The tree grew at a magical pace, not by years, but by centuries. Each tree ring pulsed with prophecy, changes in the oracle's tone, Trojan whispers lost to memory, seismic premonitions affecting empires. When the sacred tree was finally felled during a barbarian raid, scribes discovered those rings. Every age they unlocked a prophecy lost to time, Apollo's gift, temporal insight, but only in fragments and riddles. Aeolus, a humble fisherman living on the Aegean shore, discovered a wounded dolphin tangled in his nets. Instead of fearing it, he freed the graceful creature, tending its wounds with gentle hands. Night after night, the dolphin returned, first in silence, then singing. Its melodic whistles drifted across the harbor, curing insomnia, melancholy, even mild fevers. Local villagers began healing under its gentle lullaby. Word reached the Oracle of Delphi, who declared this was no ordinary dolphin, but a creature touched by Athena. The goddess, moved by Aeolus's compassion, transformed the dolphin into a constellation. Now, Delphinus shines in our night sky. Before her infamous reign, Clytemnestra was a young noblewoman, gifted a dazzling necklace by a traveling seer. The oracle warned, "Wear this and draw shadows into your court." The necklace, exquisite at first, soon revealed poison. It warped loyalties. Friends whispered venomous rumors. Trusted advisors schemed in the dark. The palace became a tapestry of deception. One night, the necklace glowed ominously. Clytemnestra, heart-pounding, flung it into the agora's sacred fountain. The metal sank, but the wounds it inflicted, jealousy, betrayal, had taken root in her soul. Years later, those same wounds echoed when Agamemnon returned from Troy. Her vengeance had already been woven. Cleodora was a nymph priestess of prophetic fame. She cared for a raven that would perch on her shoulder during ritual trances. One day, the raven witnessed a noble-looking youth betraying Cleodora's trust. That night, it screeched out an ominous warning, "Beware the gleaming dagger." But the youth was well known and beloved. Few believed the bird's visions. Once, at the next oracle session, Cleodora let the youth ask for guidance. The raven swooped, bit the sacred laurel, bloodied and frantic. The youth fled in panic and killed himself the following dawn with his own dagger. The gods were enraged by the botched prophecy. They cursed the raven, forever silent in daylight, allowed to speak only under moonlight, its blood-red eye forever a symbol of an unheeded warning. Thaleia was a mortal dancer whose grace charmed crowds and princes alike. But one fateful evening, she danced too close to the sea, catching the eye of the jealous nymph Leucosia. Leucosia lured Thalia into the surf with her voice. Entranced, Thalia plunged in and vanished. Dragged into an underwater palace, she became a favorite entertainer, but cursed never to return to land. Her feet turned to fiends. Grief-stricken, her family sent divers and pleas. The sea god Glaucus, moved, defied Poseidon to intervene. In exchange for Thalaia's freedom, Leucosia demanded the sea would sing lament every full moon, a curse felt by fishermen and lovers alike. Thalaia returned, but as a half-human, half-mermaid creature. She danced again on those nights, but only in lullabies by the lighthouse. After his tragic time in the underworld, Orpheus never sang again. But he had a mirror, an artifact gifted by Hephaestus, carved into silver and obsidian. Legend says if you look into it at midnight, it doesn't show your reflection, but reveals your inner wounds, grief, fear, or love. Orpheus discovered his deepest pain, losing Eurydice again and again, a loop of regret shimmering in the glass. Those bold enough to gaze into the mirror were forced to confront their own truth. Mad kings, guilty assassins, wounded lovers. A cult grew around the mirror in Byzantium centuries later. They believed by witnessing your wounds you found true healing. The mirror vanished during the sack of Byzantium, and folklore says it might yet exist, waiting for the next truth seeker. Procopion was a philosopher poet with sharp wit. When his beloved fiancée died unexpectedly, he traveled to the underworld to bargain her release. Standing before Hades, he offered a riddle. What is weightless yet burdens every traveler? Hades guessed many: shadow, memory, breath. Procopion gave the answer: hope. Hades laughed, but when Procopion offered hope for his realm, purpose for the souls, Hades paused. Their deal. Procopion could bring one soul with him on condition they'd forget the living world. He chose his fiancée. Against all odds, Procopion returned alone. Her soul was released, but she never remembered him. Instead, she became a priestess under his olive tree shrine. Deep grief, yes, but honored memory. Procopion built a sanctuary there, the Olive of Remembrance, and tradition holds that on certain days, souls whisper among its branches. Nanis was a shepherdess with a voice said to calm storms and soothe wounded animals. One night, Hesperus, the evening star, heard her lullaby echoing across the hills. Enchanted, he descended as a glowing figure and asked for one song, pleading to preserve her voice forever. Nanis agreed and was reborn as a celestial melody, forever drifting through twilight winds on mountain slopes. Villagers tell of hearing faint singing when dawn and dusk meet. Believe it's Nanis's voice, gently guiding sheep home and calming anxious hearts. Boots, a modest temple caretaker in Athens, inherited a bronze staff carved with serpents. One day, the staff rose without him, whirling through the city, knocking over market stalls, then winding into the Acropolis. Bouts chased it for days. He discovered it delivered lost petitions to gods, prayers forgotten on altars, pleas buried in priests' clutter. Finally, it stopped by an obscure shrine to Eileithyia, goddess of childbirth, with requests from desperate mothers. Touched, Butes curated them and recorded answers. Word spread, and his staff and reputation became symbols of forgotten prayers heard. Cassia, a weaver in Sicyon, could spin cloth admired by nobles, but lusted after prophecy. She prayed to Athena for insight. Athena answered, "Spin 30 webs of her silk, each in a single night, and wind them into one garment." Cassia did, but on the 30th dawn, the final thread pulled taught a message. Even fate can unravel. Wearing the cloak, Cassia saw her future and the futures of her village unfolding in shimmering threads. Romances bloom, rivers flood, wars approach. But she whispered with a shuttle, "Unwind, reshape." When a drought threatened, she unraveled the cloak to call rain. Crops revived. Then she concealed or wove again, preserving her gift as secret. Melanippe, a mortal woman known for her courage, shielded a grove of ancient olive trees sacred to Athena. When invaders arrived, she stood between her people and their axes, praying fiercely. Athena answered by animating the trees, trunks twisted, branches formed shields, olive wood sprang to protect and even pushed invaders back. The attackers fled, and Melanippe became a guardian spirit of the grove, said to appear in moonlight to rebuke poachers or guide lost travelers. To this day, in secluded groves, people swear they've seen olive trees bend, whispers calling, "Protect what is sacred." Expecting twins Apollo and Artemis, Leto fled Zeus's wrath and Hera's jealousy. Exhausted, she reached a barren, rocky cliff. No one offered her water or refuge. Night fell. Leto, nearly collapsed, whispered a plea for mercy. Suddenly, the meadow around her lit up. Thousands of fireflies, their tiny lights drifting down like dew. The fireflies guided her to hidden spring pools, their glow warming her spirit through the long night. By dawn, Leto was restored, enough to give birth. Touched by their devotion, she blessed them. "Let your light shine for all weary travelers, a reminder of mercy in darkness." Ever since, fireflies are symbols of hope in night and unseen protection. If these hidden Greek tales struck a chord, tap like, subscribe, and share in the comments. Which whispered myth resonated most, or bring your own forgotten story to light? Hit that bell so our next journey into ancient marvels begins soon. Until next time, Myth Explorers.